What is going on, Eagles family? We are back with another film session. And we had to come in here and talk about Jalen Carter because this guy really made a difference. He has been doing this all throughout this season. And if this team is going to take that next step to the Super Bowl, they need this player to turn up. So let's break him down and see the difference he made this past game. So on this play here, you'll see Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter running the stunt, with Nolan as the crash guy and Jalen as the looper. Carter shows great awareness here. As soon as Nolan crashes in, Jalen recognized his opportunity to loop around and attack the quarterback. These are the kind of plays that this defense has been executing all year, and they're proving successful in the playoffs. So activating the system. So locking on this play here, just watching Nolan Smith and Carter. You see with Nolan, he quickly crashes inside. And the thing is, positioning is key when it comes down to running these stunts because with Jalen Carter, as soon as he was able to crash inside, he quickly looped around. He tripped a little bit, but he was able to regain his balance and go out there and close in on Matt Stafford. And seeing both of these athletes playing on a defensive line has been amazing. It took some time for Nolan Smith to get things going, but sometimes you got to get those repetitions and get comfortable out there. And usually, when you have a player that's athletic like Jalen Carter, it's so hard to be able to defend against that because not only is he powerful, he's also a dancing bear out there, finding ways to get slippery and evade these offensive linemen. But seeing this defense going out there running TE stunts, ET stunts, and getting home, this is exactly what you want to see when it comes down to your defensive tackle as well as your defensive end. Finding ways to wreck games by any means necessary. Jalen Carter hasn't just been giving offensive lineman problems this year, he's been consistently pressuring quarterbacks too. On this play, you'll see him explode laterally off the ball, use a quick club move, and get his hands on the ball. And it was nearly an interception on his rep. This is why coaches say play to the whistle, because what started with Carter's pressure could have turned into a turnover. So we'll go ahead and split it. So looking at this play here, just studying Jalen Carter, just watching that first step laterally, a lot of these offensive linemen, their arms are not long enough to be able to clamp down. So as soon as that snap started, once he made that quick movement, he already gained leverage. And Cooper Cup did try to block him, but we all know that he really did not want that smoke when it comes down to a player like Carter, extending and slapping Stafford's forearms. And as you can see, it was a waffle that was in the air. And Rodgers could have intercepted that ball, but we know that it was really snowy out there. So sometimes you might end up dropping it. And with these defenses in the NFL, with the defensive tackle position, you got to have these players going out there and getting active. And with a player like Jalen, he was definitely on top of his game. If it was stopping the run, forcing turnovers, getting pressures, this guy did absolutely everything on the field in this past game. So whenever these offensive linemen are going up against him, if you don't have a proper plan to be able to stop him and play with good technique, he will find ways to be able to control you and wreck these plays. So this ended up being another dominating rep by Jalen Carter, finding ways to be able to get through that guard and get his hands on the quarterback for a bad throw. If you want to see some of the best Philadelphia Eagles helmets and upgrade your man cave or your room, check out Green Gridiron's page in the description. These helmets are torch, available in mini or regular size with the visors, and they are built to last a lifetime. Click the link and use promo code JC Network for a discount on these amazing helmets. Now let's get back to the film session. Here's a play where Jalen gains leverage, disengages from the lineman, and punches out the ball for a fumble by Kyron Williams. He is being a true alpha dog on his team and finding ways to continue to shift momentum. And this is what separates the men from the boys in the trenches. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, you see that he's getting his hands on that tackle, getting his hands inside, and driving his legs. And usually when he can get his hands in there, he can be able to control you. Finding ways to be able to get away from the tackle and punch out the ball. And he has done this before against Kyron Williams. Sometimes players just have a knack for being able to get their hands on the ball, kind of sort of like that Peanut Tillman type of energy from the Bears. But when you do make these kind of plays, it can absolutely shift momentum in these games. And it's needed when it comes down to the postseason. Because when you are playing in these snow games, it can get really slippery out there. And these running backs can be clumsy. So it only takes half a second. And with Kyron Williams, I got a lot of respect for this running back. He doesn't fumble like that. But when it's snowing outside like this, you got to use it as your advantage. But seeing Jalen Carter getting physical with that offensive lineman and punch that ball out was a great thing to see by the young defensive tackle, maximizing every opportunity that he's getting. Here's another pressure play by Jalen Carter. The heavy snowfall did make it difficult to see the details when zoomed in, But these snow games are what football is all about, Eagles family. Stepping up and making plays when it really matters. So we'll go ahead and spin it. So looking at this rep here, just seeing him firing off the ball and attacking the center. And it really honestly does not matter who he's going up against. All pro players, Pro Bowl type of players, he's going to find ways to be able to give you problems. But I love to be able to run this film when it comes down to the trenches, seeing these guys going out there and fighting it out. But he quickly disengages and gets his hands on a quarterback again. And it was another waffle that was being thrown. This just shows that this player is a big time difference maker. And it's not easy to be able to find these type of talents, but it's a positive domino effect when it comes down to players like Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Williams. The list goes on and on when it comes down to that front seven, bringing the best out of everyone on his defense. And it all starts with him. And with a lot of these players in the league, you will see that they make a lot of plays in the regular season, but they end up being quiet when it really matters in the postseason. Well, you do not get that when it comes down to a player like Jalen Carter. And with Nolan Smith, there were so many scouts that were sleeping on this player, but not every defensive lineman is going to take off in their first year. Sometimes you got to groom a player so they can get comfortable and get into position. So I'm sure that we're going to be seeing a lot from said player. But seeing Jalen continue to get pressures towards the end of this game was a thing of beauty. On this second to last defensive rep, Jalen Carter showed excellent hand technique, clubbing the offensive lineman and getting to Matt Stafford. Carter made plays from the first through the fourth quarter, proving why he's one of the league's top defenders by making crucial plays when the game was on the line. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, he's attacking that center again, use a quick club move, and completely pushes him. But the center, he locks in on the other defender, and that is something that you don't do when it comes down to Jalen. You have to account for him. So he was able to close in and get the sack. And it's great to be able to see this player's skill set. When you're going into the draft and you're looking for a lot of these players, sometimes these athletes can only be able to stop the run at the defensive tackle position. They don't have too many good pass rush moves, or they're primarily just a pass rusher that they use on later downs. But with Jalen, he's scheme versatile. And watching film when the Commanders went against him these past two games, from what I saw on that offensive line, I don't think that there's any single player that can be able to stop him. So they better make sure that they can be able to game plan, because if not, he will be able to find ways to be able to get to Jaden Daniels. But with this player's skill set, he has what it takes to be able to make a difference. So in this final rep here, we see a backbreaker play that ended the game. Carter applied pressure on Matt Stafford, forcing him to throw a bad ball out of bounds. It's great to see Carter showing up and showing out, as this level of play will be crucial for the team to take that next step. So we'll go ahead and run it. So locking on this play here, just watch him. He's going up against the center. Love to see the movement when it comes down to this type of talent. You got to get wiggly when it comes down to defensive tackle. Quickly, he was able to get in position, use a quick rip move, and hit the quarterback. And on this last rep, everybody on the defense went crazy because they knew that this game was over, doing what they had to do to be able to finish off the Rams. And playing against the Rams with their explosive players on defense and offense, on top of playing in a snow game, it was a big time challenge. But you see the Philadelphia Eagles, they stepped up and made it happen. Now, this defense will not be perfect. There will be mistakes when it comes down to the defensive line, the linebackers, as well as the secondary. But can these players go out there and step up at the most important times of these games? And seeing this defensive line in the fourth quarter, they did just that, bringing in that dog mentality and getting them boys out the way. So that was an awesome game with Jalen Carter, but the show is not over yet. The Washington Commanders are coming to town, and these guys got to be ready to play. They have some explosive players on offense, but I think with the Philadelphia Eagles, they have enough to be able to match that. So everything is going to start at that line of scrimmage. It's not going to just come down to Jalen Carter. Everybody on his defense is going to have to step up. But looking at this team through the offense, the defense, as well as special teams, there are no excuses when it comes down to the Philadelphia Eagles. The time is now. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Jalen Carter, and who else do y'all think needs to step up to slow down the Commanders. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss out on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Eagles family, talk to y'all soon. Gone.